Hey guys, OFD checking in here, and I'm finally taking the time to show you my Seiko Samurai. This is a watch that I bought just about a month ago, and I've worn it quite a bit. I just haven't really had the time to put up a video about it, so I wanted to do a really kind of quick one this morning. I'm probably going to do a couple more videos today, so keep your eyes out looking for what I got to come. So anyways, this version that I have here, guys, today, this is the SRPB55. Now, this is not a K or a J model. I think the non-J or K models, from what I understand, are like a domestic made model, or basically made for like the American market. I think it was like the SKX 175. The Pepsi SKX was also kind of in that same boat. There's been a few domestic models. I think this is one of those. Don't hold me to that. So anyways, I've had this watch for a few weeks. I absolutely love it. It's been a great watch. I think that the reissue of the Samurai, I think they did a really good job on it. It's just, a lot of people, you get that first generation, a lot of people want to see what was in that first generation watch. This is a little bit different, but I think what Seiko has done with it has been good. We're going to bring the watch up here so we can take a look at it, a closer look at it. Now, as you guys can see, I ended up with the black ionic coated plated case. I guess it's ion coated. Very nicely done. Just a completely different case design from Seiko, harkening back to the original Samurais they made. I think it was back in like 2004 or 2005 or something like that. They came out with the originals. This model, or these models, came out this year in 2017, early 2017. I know they had them at Bezel World and stuff like that. They've retained the really cool, or they have the really cool, as you guys can see it as I catch it there in the light, the waffle dial. This one, of course, has the gilded, or the gold gild on the hands and also on the indices, as well as the gold on the bezel. Something I really like. If you guys watch my channel, I have the SKX 001J, or 011J, excuse me, that has the gold gild on it. I've also got the 775 Turtle, which has the gold, and I'm also a owner of the SUN 043 Yeti, which has the gold. So it's something I really like, I really appreciate in the watch. So they did a very nice brushing on the cases of these watches. And actually, it's pretty much brushed all the way around. There is some slight polishing here underneath the bezel. One of the big differences is here on the side. You have this really big polished, I guess, kind of square section, which is really interesting. It's, depending on when you look at it, it either looks like it's sticking out from the watch, or it's either in. And it's definitely, a cut in on the watch, kind of where the crown would be on the other side. Just like Seiko's, your ISO good Seikos nowadays, this has a 120 click bezel. Nice and solid, locks in really good. Everything on the bezel lines up pretty good here. Okay. These are running a handset very similar to the Seiko Monsters. Very nice looking handset. Running the 4R35 movement from Seiko, which is a 24 joule 24 joule movement. And this one's running at 21,600 vibrations per hour. So it's a low beat movement, which is great for a diving watch. That's kind of what you want in a really tough, like ISO rated watch. You want that. Not a real high beat movement. They tend to be a little less tough. And so these are just a really good workhorse movement all the way around from Seiko. Go ahead and screw down the crown here on this. So also what I think is borrowed from the Monster series is the crown. As you guys can see, if I can get it in here close enough. It has the knurled crown, just like the Monster. And also, I got it close. Look at the bezel knurling. I like that. Very, very industrial the way it's done. You guys can still see the drilled lugs on here for super easy strap changes. I actually usually wear this on a NATO strap. I went ahead and put it back on the factory rubber strap for you guys for this video. I will tell you this is very similar to the new rubber straps they're coming out with. I think this is labeled as a Z22 strap, which was a standard designation for, your rubber SKX and everything else like that. So hopefully this is what they're going to. This is your softer, smoother, more pliable rubber. Very cool with the metal keeper. And of course on this one, because everything is black on the watch, they made the hardware on the keeper black. You get your Seiko logo there. So yeah, overall, a very cool watch. I know there's a lot of reviews out there on these watches, on these Samurais, and I think they're a really cool deal. You know, typical of Seiko, one of the things that always drives me nuts is if you guys look there at the 12 o'clock on that index ring, it's just slightly off with the line on the 12 o'clock. You know, it drives me nutty, but it's funny, when I had this, I got into my box and got out all my divers watches, mostly Seikos, Orient, and Citizen. And out of a whole lot of watches, guys, I had a lot of alignment issues with watches that include this inner chapter ring here. Even on a Citizen, I noticed just slightly off. But, you know, I think when you're working with watches that are using these multiple parts, you've got the dial, you've got the chapter ring in there and stuff like that. For some reason, putting them together, they run into QC issues, it seems like, all the time. Very slight on this watch, so I'm not going to send it back. I have sent watches back before, and they've come back with, you know, worse problems than a slightly messed up index ring. They've come back not running correctly and stuff like that. So I'm just going to deal with that slight misalignment. Show you guys the back of the watch here. Your Seiko, your Divers 200 meter. And the Prospex logo there on the back. Hardlex crystal, of course, on this watch, which is proprietary from Seiko. And the lume on this watch, guys, I'm not even going to bother to give you guys a lume shot because this is typical Seiko lume, brighter than anything else out there, and it lasts throughout the night. So if you guys are interested in a totally different looking watch, I'm going to go ahead and take off the watch I'm wearing right now and put this on so you guys can get a wrist shot of it. If you guys are looking for something different in the Seiko lineup that doesn't look like a lot of their other divers, I think the Samurai are a really cool option. If I can, I'll leave a link. I think the commercial they did for these Samurais at the beginning of the year was really cool. They had the fully dressed Samurai in scuba gear, you know, sinking down to the bottom of the ocean. It was a really cool commercial to check out. So, all right, guys, there you go. There is the watch on my 7 1/4 inch wrist. Fits well, looks good. I'll tell you guys just off the top of my head, this watch is a 44 millimeter case from side to side. You're looking at 48 from lug tip to lug tip. It's 13 millimeters thick. And you have 22 millimeter lug openings on this watch. So just a quick look, guys, at my SRPB55 from Seiko, the Gilded Samurai. One of my new favorites in the collection, guys. All right, thanks for tuning in.